Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Acro Flame. I want to thank y'all for coming back again. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that y'all can be updated every time that I release another Acro Yoga video. So, doing another one-on-one video sesh here. And this is a flyer I haven't worked with very much, but we've been to a few jams together, and we really just kind of wanted to give some new things to try, or like just reevaluate some of the older things that we hadn't quite gotten down just yet. So we are doing a Ninja Star right now, and Ninja Star is kind of one of those moves that you really don't want to like. It's more of a beginner move, but at the same time they need to have the prerequisites of side star down pretty well, and then also a straddle bat position. So there's a few prerequisites. Side star is kind of hard on flyers sometimes if their hips or hip flexors are really tight, and if it almost feels kind of like a roll, like a rolling. What are they called? The rolling spheres that you, the foam rollers, sometimes on your hips if the hip flexors just need to be stretched out. And but this is, she has a really good side star. So, but we're going into reverse bird, and she could keep her arms a little bit straighter. That'll bring her chest up a little bit better whenever we're going into that reverse bird positioning. And then here, from straddle bat to side star, it does look like the hips opened up just a tad bit. So you want to be able to keep that pike again going through reverse bird. Arms should be straight as a flyer, so, and the arms as a base should be straight. I think mine were pretty straight, but here going into upside down, and now going into star. So really good balance from flyer and base. And I think here we let's see what we do next. But this was it was kind of a shorter session too, but we did run through some things. Going into a back fly here, and then we can see that we're gonna attempt to do a little bit of stretching. This is one stretch to kind of warm up the back a little bit, get that core opened up, and also the hip flexors opened up as well, and just prep for further back bends. So that's a good warm-up procedure from star into the back bend. It's one of my favorites that I like to do as a base when basing, when starting to warm up, at least, if anything. So, and I don't know, I forgot if we had like straight went into side star. Here we can see the hips are coming back just a tad bit, and I'm having to push forward quite a bit with my feet, and then I just decided to catch on the hips. So she needs to pike down just a little bit more, and the more she pikes here, the further she'll be lifted up on from my chest or from my stomach area too. So she, like, what I could have had her done was grab her feet and then pull her down towards the ground here. Floating Pashi. This is a fun balance move here as well, trying to find sturdiness. And what they want to do with the floating Pashi is try to create a triangle shape with their back and their arms and legs. So we're going to go back into our back bend here. And as you can see, she keeps one leg stagged. The one leg stagged helps with balancing. It helps with just not feeling like they're putting a lot of pressure on their lower back. So if they stag their leg, it helps eliminate lower back pain as well, if they're experiencing that. Coming from side star here, and then moving into a rotisserie or a revolution. So revolution, we just moved all the way to the other hip, and then from there we're going to go to the lower back, to then turn towards a revolution, and then creating side star on the other side. So kind of a fun way to get into another side star. Revolution it's one that I haven't really practiced quite a lot here lately, but it's still a good move. It's a good move to prep them to or prep the flyer and base to move from foot to foot, each side star, and then also create this lower back, and we do a switch hands, and then we move to another side star here. So 2 really good moves.
No, that's what it's called. It's called
Revolution. And Revolution, after Revolution, we could start to move into a rotisserie, but I don't think that we did rotisserie. I think we just kept it as Revolution. So here to the lower back. And so what she could do a little bit going into that lower back positioning is to stag the leg. Stagging the leg will help with balance as well, but still having a little bit of adjustment difficulties. And I think that was probably on my part too, not keeping the arms straight, keeping the arms, you don't really want to keep them bent in this position or going through this pose either.
rotisserie is like a 360 rotation from one hip to the other. So we don't go into the back quad, but we just rotate all the way around.
So let's see, again, Revolution one more time. So I'm really just trying to get warm here as well. Trying to make sure, because I think it was pretty cold this day. So one more time to the, and then we decided to come down. So the legs weren't floating back too much, and then we kind of just came down towards the ground. So
Didn't quite get all the way.
It's one of those moves you just gotta commit to.
it.
Yeah.
I just
it's
gotta
a side star. I think I'm just kind of directing like some side star stuff here,
It's like a whipper.
but and she like our body proportions are about like the same, so like we're both kind of that same type of body proportion as well, and that kind of sometimes it like helps out, sometimes it doesn't, because
You're good.
like if she's like a little bit like
Alright, one more time.
if she's about like the same size as me, then it like
Alright,
sometimes it's a little bit off proportional.
Dude, I've been kicked.
But still, like, I'm trying to explain here about what we could do better, if it's putting arm positioning in a better positioning,
Yeah, at the gym.
or
Afterwards, like,
during rotation or something like that.
I think.
So really just trying to describe what we had going on here.
I've just been getting all beat up.
Hunter, my friend, have you met
Yeah,
Hunter?
I know Hunter, yeah.
Yeah. So he was at both of those.
But also, like, I don't think she had like practiced in a while either, so I think it was kind of us both being like out of practice, but not like warming up calibration wise very well either. And usually there's a whole like warm up routine or stretching routine that I like to go through that is also like very helpful. So here, hand switch to another Revolution. And we come down again. So I think we were trying to do rotisserie, and that's moving from one side all the way to the other side of the hip. So super challenging move. Like, you have to have a lot of patience when it comes to acro too, especially with newer flyers or people that like we're not getting it the first time too. So, and it's just patience with like both ends, you know. So here, all the way over to the other hip, and it's not happening. So from one hip all the way to the other hip to the other side, that's kind of it's a tough move, but I think
we'll let it go.
I think I could keep my arms straighter as well, and that'll help.
So let's try star. We're gonna try 4-step.
Is that where you like step it up and down?
But here, still talking about it.
I think I could probably.
But yeah, y'all, check out the Instagram page. I'll leave links to both of our Instagrams down in the description below. You can check us both out for Featured Flyer, and then my Instagram as well. But yeah, I plan to like, do some more tutorial videos. If not, make like a Patreon or something with, you know, higher end quality tutorial videos in there for y'all.
Oh, sorry.
So here we go from one
No, yeah.
side star
And
to the
so
next
really
side
it's gonna
star,
be almost like an L sit that's happening.
and then we start to rotate.
That'll help you get your hips into the air, and that'll help you bring your legs straight through, because the next move is my foot going to your lower
All the way
back.
back. But so her hand that we are connected to has to come around like a dancing positioning. So it has to like come from, it has to come around her head. And I think that's the part that I didn't explain very well, was that like the hand positioning, the hand has to come around the head so that way she can rotate the hip all the way around and still put pressure into my hand. So I think we're a little confused about how to work from there together. So now we're just like cracking it up a little bit, trying to figure out what we can do better or what else we want to work on as well. So I think we decided to start working on something else.
Yep, all the way through. Yep, there you go. Okay, I want to bring this foot to the shoulder.
My hair is like everywhere too. So.
Find your stack, straddle out.
And I think like having the thicker mat too obviously helps a lot. So I don't know why I didn't bring the thicker mat out today. I'm not sure if I had it during this time or not, but that obviously makes them feel a little bit more comfortable about certain moves and everything. So the thicker mats obviously help, or the puzzle mats. If y'all use those, y'all can get puzzle mats as well. I might put some links down in the description below for those as well, and that might help people out to figure out what is useful and what's not. I recently just picked up like a crash pad too, and oh, here's 4-step. Okay, this is fun. So with 4-step, like the hips didn't come through, so she couldn't lock around the other leg. And then I'm describing the L-sits that need to be prepared as well. So I think we try and run through L-sits together. But she's like really strong. She has a stronger upper body more or less than anything too. So maybe we're like trying to overpower each other. And that's like one thing that we also have to calibrate with is, you know, we don't want to overpower our bases or our flyers too much either. So just being aware of that. But yeah, I recently picked up a crash pad, so it's a little bit so the flyers can feel a little bit more comfortable about some of the like more riskier moves that we decide to do as well. And one thing that I also was told was that when starting with newer flyers, they need to learn how to fall out of certain things. So I might start training like preparation to fall out of certain moves. So here,
now straighten the legs, straighten the knees, squeeze into the hips.
Legs are, yeah. So one thing I can kind of notice is that the flyer's legs need to be pretty strong and precise as they move. And I mean, knees can be like bent, but at the same time, the precision and slow and controlled movements is another thing I like to talk about with flyers. Is slow and controlled is easier for me to balance. We don't if there's like noodling going on or anything, then it's kind of harder that way as a base. But we did good there. We got through one rotation, so that was nice. It looks like we're gonna try it again. So I might start prepping flyers to be aware of how to fall out of things properly, right? So especially with like Star, if they want to roll out the back way to do kind of like a back walkover, and practice like falling out of that. So one leg stags, I bring my foot to the shin,